One, two. Welcome everybody to the show. It's Wednesday evening, so you know what time it is. It's all about the viewpoints. And what do we say, people? What do we say? We say knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So before we get started, I want you guys to remember to like and subscribe to Viewpoints on all networks. You can take a quick second right now. I won't mind if you take a quick second right now and go follow the page, whether you're watching on Instagram, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on Twitch, whether you're watching on Facebook, or whether you're watching from some other platform. I want you guys to like and subscribe to Viewpoints on all platforms. It's a weekly session. We were away last week, so I want to shout out everybody that linked me and was wondering what was going on. People, we had a busy week. We had some appointments pre-booked and we couldn't get away from it. But we're back. We're back. It's the Viewpoints, right? So people, as you know, it's summertime and the place is open up, right? There's so much stuff going on in the city. Everyone is planning big things, but guess what? Everybody knows Ja Wiggs is a summer baby. So before I get into the action, let me just show you guys. We got to remember that August the 21st, my official birthday barbecue / rave. People, this is taking place in the East End this year. And boy, oh boy, we got a special, beautiful, lovely place lined up. And boy, when we talk about the DJ lineup, special guest artists and performers, people, the summer vibe, you do not want to miss this one. All right, so another thing too, there's a new thing that I'm going to start doing, and you know what it's called? It's called the blessedness check, right? Because I made a post the other day after having a conversation on the phone with one of my brethren. It was a random conversation, and you know, we just started talking about life, health. You know, we started talking about some books that we were reading, and we just had a healthy, good conversation. At the end of that conversation, we were both uplifted, we were both motivated, we were both, you know, eager to get the day started. So I said, let me make a post on Instagram because this is something that we need to keep going, that we need to keep pushing. So I put it out on Instagram, made a quick reel, and boy, the amount of feedback that I got, I knew I was doing something right. I went ahead and posted that on Facebook in the Black Toronto Community Support Group. The amount of love and respect I got on that post, I think we had over 200 likes and like 50 plus comments. Everyone saying respect, thanks for doing this, checking in on me to see how I'm doing. But this is the circle of blessings that we need to carry forth, right? So again, people, it's all about the blessedness check. We're going to be doing this more often. We're going to be checking in with the masses, checking in with our brothers, checking in with our sisters, checking in with our associates as well, and just checking in to see how we're doing, to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do to progress ourselves and to progress our family, as well as progressing our businesses, right? Again, people, it's all about the viewpoints. Look at the top. I want you guys to remember to like and subscribe on all platforms. This is a movement we're building. So we need everybody to jump on the movement, and we need the support from all the massive. If you're watching, remember to share the link. And if you're tuning in, turn it up. This is Vupointz, and today's episode is the Caribana edition. We have some special guests in the lobby. Let me just let you guys know what's going on. Let me let you guys know what's going on. Today, we have Michael Williams, band leader of the Regulars Mass Band and owner of the Iron Pot Caters. Now, people, if you don't know, Michael Williams was also featured on TV on the Food Network. When he gets on the live, he's gonna let you know more about those ventures and some of his history. We also have Marcia Booty on the line, six in the lobby. Sorry, 6 times Caribana Queen of the Bands, the most celebrated and most decorated Caribana Queen in history. And of course, we have to represent for the DJ crew. We have Toronto and Canada's #1 most requested, and I'd have to also say most traveled soca DJ. We have DJ Soca Sweetness. I actually started my Soca Sweetness journey by going to his parties. I remember going to this guy's parties at Progress, Fortress North. Man, this guy used to ram out parties from back then. So it's an honor to have a DJ so experienced like Soca Sweetness on the show today, people. We have a great show, and we're going to be talking about Caribana. We're going to be talking about the history. We're going to be talking about the effects of the culture. But before we get into that, I also just want to touch on some hot topics and some things that were popping in the news. So right now the Olympics are going on. I know, a couple weeks there was some hoopla about the Jamaican track athlete who was not allowed to run because she got tested positive for some drugs. But that's old news, so we're not going to focus too much on that. But the Olympics are going on in Japan. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of strict measures because of this COVID and this whole situation in terms of social distancing, where people can contact. And apparently, they're giving all the athletes some sort of cardboard bed. So, and the whole purpose of giving them this cardboard bed is to limit or to try to curb sexual interactions between the athletes. Now, personally, I don't know how giving somebody a cardboard bed is going to stop them from having intercourse, because if two people want to have intercourse, bed is not needed. A floor is right there. The job can be completed and the task can be performed. So the Japanese ministers, I don't know what your motive is, or if it's just to make people uncomfortable, but apparently you guys are on the right track. People, remember, if you're tuning in, to turn it up, and if you see the link, share the link. This is Vupointz. It's the weekly session. We do this every week. We got some special guests on the line today. Before we get into that, let's also talk about the NBA champions. The 2021 NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks were able to defeat the Phoenix Suns in a 4-2 6-game series. So it went down to the wire. It was a good game. I heard there was a lot of action. I'm not too much into the sports, but I got some people in my house that are all about it. So I do know the Milwaukee Bucks won. It was a hard-fought victory, and the Raptors didn't make it this year, but we'll see what we got planned for next year. Speaking about the NBA, another hot topic is the movie Space Jam. I guess I should say LeBron Space Jam is what they're calling it. Now, I'm from the old school NBA, old school movies, and old school cartoons. So when it comes to Space Jam, it's going to be hard to get me away from the Michael Jordan Space Jam. I don't even want to define it as the Michael Jordan Space Jam. I just want to call it Space Jam, because there's only one real Space Jam. This one, my girl took the kids to see it the other day. They said it was good. The kids like it. My girl said there's lots of great special effects. So all in all, apparently it is a good movie. I'm going to have to check it out on my own and give it a full review and see what's going on. In local news, on Sunday, apparently in the east end of the city in Whitby, the police had to attend this big function to break up an all-white party that was going on out in the east end. Now, apparently there were about 200 people at this party. There was no parking at the venue. People had to be shuttled in from different locations. Man, all I can say is I wish I knew about this party. If I knew about it, I would have been there. You can guarantee that. I would have been there with my Vupointz hat, my Vupointz shirt, getting some live footage for the action in Toronto. Now, in the East End. Now, I'm from the East End. I'm from the East End. So I was so surprised that this party, this huge, huge party was going on in the East End, and I was unaware. But again, people, right now it's all about private parties, private locations, and things like that. So I wasn't surprised that I didn't know. I just wish I did know, right? But apparently, the party got broken up without incident. The police were there. People had to be shuttled back out to their cars and things like that. But I don't think any charges were laid because, the city is open back up, and venues and residents are allowed to have more more than the previous number. So I think everyone was just asked to disperse, and apparently everyone, it was a peaceful disbursement, so there were no issues otherwise. Um, but again, since we're talking about parties in the East End, I want you guys to remember it's all about Bless in the City. Saturday, August 21st. It's the Red, Yellow, and Green Affair. It's an annual thing. I got so much special guests. I got so much artists coming through. It's going to be lovely. Now, before we bring on the guest people, I have a quick segment I want to run. And when I'm talking about segments I want to run, you know what I'm talking about. All right, people, what's up? My name is Ja Wiggs. You know what it is, and it's all about fine tune your business. Where every week we like to punch in and give you some motivational tips or answer some questions or comments that we received from some clients or the viewers over the past couple of days. A couple of days ago, while working on a product with a client, the client decided to ask me. They said, "Hey, Ja Wiggs, I got a business that's been in my family for the past couple generations. How do I get my kids involved in the family business?" Well, I said, all right, that's a great question. I think I'll bring it up on the Vupointz, right? So I was able to do some little research, talk to a couple of people that I deal with on a regular basis, and we're able to kind of root down some quick and general, not too hard tips in order to get your kids involved in the family business. The first and best way is to get your children involved in the business early. Get them involved as they grow up. If they grow up seeing functions of the business, then that will, give them more motivation to help want to be involved. Another thing, don't let the family business dictate your life or your young child's life. Because if you let work run your life in a negative way, then your child's going to grow up seeing work as a hassle, seeing work as a negative thing, seeing work as something that takes away from family life. So it's all about a balance. Get your kids involved, but don't let the family business dictate your life. Another important tip is make joining the business be optional. A lot of parents go too hard in pressuring and forcing their children to be involved in the family business when it may not be their simple, genuine interest, or it may not be their number one skill set. So make it optional. You can do your best to show them the benefits of it, but don't force your kids to do things that they generally may not be interested in. If they do show some sort of interest, find roles that are suited for them. Just because they may be good at computers, it doesn't mean that they're a graphic design person. So don't sit them in front of the computer and give them stuff to design if their stuff is more towards admin, marketing, accounting and things like that. Again, find tasks that are suitable to your children. That will help them be more interested, and it'll help be an easier transition. Another thing to do is share what you do. Share your day, share your experiences. Let your children know how your day is going and how your projects are going on. The more you're open and the more you share what's going on with your family and your children, you're more apt to get them involved in what you're doing. Another thing also in regards to sharing information, let your children try different things. If you have a job task that is able to be handled by somebody younger, or them doing it doesn't affect the final outcome, let them try. Let them take part in some tasks so they can see how the business run on the back end or in the middle stages. Make it an attractive option. Don't just say, you got to do this, you got to do this. show them how things are done, let them get involved, so that the next time you're doing these things, they're going to want to be involved, right? Let me see if there's any other quick tips. Like I said, share what you're doing, include them in projects, bring them along. If you're going on deliveries or pickups, bring them along, let them know the processes, let them know how things are going, let them know what you're doing for this client, let them know, how that job went. Involve them in the process. Another thing you could do is, if they're old enough to understand money, you could hire your children. If you have a task that you need them to do that you know that their skill set allows, you can hire them. Give them a monetary benefit for the task they complete. Because if it's your business and it's for a client that's going to make you money, let them know this is how you make money. You're good at something. Here's a task, complete it. The client will pay you the money. So, people, those are just some quick tips on how to get your children involved in the family business. It's all about fine tune your biz. My name is Ja Wiggs, and you know what it is. Fine tune your biz with Ja Wiggs. People, we have these posted on YouTube as well. So if you miss any of the sessions, feel free to go to the YouTube page, search Vupointz, check out the playlist for the Fine Tune Your Biz, and you can get your plethora of information and tips on how to run your business, right? People, I think we've done enough early talking. I think we've done enough intro talking. I think it's time we bring on the guests. I think it's time we bring on the guests. And again, if you're just joining us, it's the Caribana edition of the Vupointz. We have three special guests that were heavily involved in this whole Caribana process. We decided to make sure we cover all angles, all bases today. We have Marcia Booty, six-time Caribana Queen of the Bands. We have DJ Soca Sweetness, very, very busy and involved DJ when it comes to Caribana. And we have Michael Williams, band leader and owner of the Regulars Mass Band and the Iron Pot Caterers. Michael Williams has also been involved on the back end of Caribana, mass making, mass production, event production, and he's involved in the game in all aspects. So we're gonna hear what he has to say. Now, the first guest that we're gonna bring on is Marcia Booty. Marcia has been in the green room waiting. Thank you for your patience, Marcia. Let's bring on Marcia and let's start this show. Marcia, can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the show, Marcia, and thanks for joining the show.
Welcome, but I have a welcome for you. I have something for everybody. Sola Maestria.
Hey, 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 hey.
I think that's how
Now,
everybody feels right now.
I know. Look how long I ain't see you. Trust me. I had to name the show. I gave it a tagline. I need a Fete, because right now that's the vibe everybody's feeling. They haven't seen each other in so long, and they need a Fete. Everybody needs that vibe. Now, for
They
those who
need.
don't know, the first guest we have on, Marcia Booty. Now, she's not just anybody. She's not just a regular person. Now, this lady is my family. This lady is my auntie. This is my mom's younger sister. So I just want you guys to just take a second and bask in the beauty of Marcia Booty. So Marcia, again, thank you and welcome for coming to the show, auntie. I'm gonna keep it professional. I'm gonna call you Marcia today, as opposed to normal auntie, what I would call you on a different day.
Okay.
So Marcia, I personally know that you've been
Okay,
involved
no
in
problem.
Caribana for a long, long time. So can you introduce yourself to the Vupointz Massive, and just let them know who you are first of all.
Marcia. I'm Marcia. Well, everyone on Instagram knows me as Marcia Booty. Most of my friends call me Booty. But going back, for people who know me from a little child and just know me through Caribana, they would know me previously as Marcia Davis. I played mass from Kitty's Carnival in the since I was 4 years old. From I could walk properly and carry a costume, like not just put on, a small costume, but carry a costume. My dad built a costume for me, and I played mass. And unfortunately, when I was 7, my mom passed away, and she used to play Queen for our band. And the next year, my dad said, "Well, you're now Queen." And I'm like, "Huh?" Because I know from kiddies you usually go to individual, which is a little bit bigger, and then Queen, which you're carrying a huge costume. And I was like, "Okay." And just went off and played. Like that was like, I didn't have to think about it. It was just like, okay. And that was that. And that's year 1978, which everyone can kind of see my age there. Yeah. But anyways, that year I came first, and it's just been like from there on out, it was like, you're queen. You are queen of the band. And that's that. I didn't really, it wasn't like I didn't have a choice. I didn't know anything else but play in mass during the summer, making mass and then playing mass. That was our life. That's how I grew up. And going to Trinidad, I used to watch, like, my dad used to take me to the big shows, the King and Queen show. That would be the Sunday before Carnival, the Monday and Tuesday. And I used to watch them on the stage in awe. And I used to watch how they used to portray the costume, and if they were a flower, how they used to walk. If they used to play like a devil costume, they come on, like. And I watched that, and that's something that um, I feel that experience going to Trinidad as a young child, watching it has helped me in my journey playing Queen of the Band and winning. I've, as you said, 5 times, 6 times I won first place. I've come second, I believe, around 4 times. I came third twice.
So that's crazy because a lot of people know about the 6 times you won, but even when I was compiling the stats, I didn't even think about all the times you might have came second and third. So that's 6, 4. That means you have like about 13 top three titles in Caribana for an event that has been going
Yes.
on for roughly 30 something years. For one person to have almost half those titles, or be involved in almost winning half those titles, I definitely want to say congratulations, because even as your nephew, I didn't know that much information until right now. So it's great to know that information. Now, before we continue, I also just want to shout out Tiny Brit. I also want to shout out Stacy Brumble that's tuning in. Stacy is another one that's definitely involved in
Mm-hmm.
Caribana. And when it comes to mass, Stacy don't play around. Stacy is involved. So
Exactly.
I want to big up Stacy Brumble as well. I know Stacy had a section a couple years ago as well. And again, we want to big up all the people that play mass and all the people that get involved from early. Now, Marcia, you said the first year that you won, the first year you entered, was that the first year you won?
The first year I entered, it was the first year I won an adult
Oh, in the
competition.
adults.
That's not including me winning as a kiddies queen. So up until I used to win in the kiddies first, like 5, 6, 7 years old, when we had the competitions for the kiddies, I used to win. But when I entered the adult competition at age 8, and I carried a big costume and I won, that was my first year winning in the adult competition, which was a little bit of controversy because they basically, I guess, politics behind Caribana that I don't know about because I'm a child.
Yep.
It's like, oh, she's too young to win. She's who da, da, da. And my dad said there's no rules because there is a committee, a Caribana committee. Everything has to have a committee with rules and regulations, right? And there was nothing written that I could not compete as a child in adult
Okay.
competition. There is a rule for kiddies that you have to be 16 and under.
But there was no
So,
rule for the adults that you had to be okay. So you got
so
that. So you got through there.
So I got through there and I won. I won 78, I won 79, I won 1980. And then 81, I believe I came second to which many of us know her as Dolly. She played for Eddie Merchant, but a lot of people from Jane and Finch know her as Tanti. And she played for Eddie Merchant. And she basically, we used to go back and forth. If I came second, she came first. She came second, and but that's just how it was for a good while.
For a good
And
while, like back and forth,
yeah, back and forth, back and
a
forth.
Bulls Celtics kind of thing. It's one or the
Yeah.
other.
And one thing about her, like she would see me before the competition and give me a big hug because I'm a child to her. I'm calling her like hi, like she's a big woman. Like for me to say auntie or something, and she'd come and she hugged me and she said, "Play a mass," play like, and I'm like, okay, and I'm just so in like it's okay, and I'm seeing other band leaders like Whitfield Belasco. I before Saldina, before the son took over, was Harold Saldina, his dad. Then he
Yeah.
passed away. Ken Shaw, like all these people who from the 70s. I would see them and I'm just like, hi, hi. And then and they're like, okay, there's that little girl, but she's saying hi, but she is something because they know that I'm going to go on the stage and play my mask. It's
And
not a
play this
pageant.
mass.
Yeah, it's not a pageant. It's not a pull and it's play your mass. I would come off the stage and I have cuts, I have bruises, my whole back is scratched up because I lift the costume. My
All right, so
friend,
Marcia,
one year,
so oh, sorry, just to interject. So, because some people might watching when we hear Queen of the Bands, they may not know exactly what you're referring to. And when you're talking about this heavy costume and scratches and things like that, let the people them know when you're talking about being a queen of the band, let them know that what that is. They may think it's just you're wearing the same costume as everyone else.
no, you're actually being a costume is being built to enter the competition. You have a king and a queen, and they usually the competition is the Thursday before Caribana. At now it's kept at Lamport Stadium. Well, before COVID, and this costume is made first of all before Caribana. As Caribana ends, the all the band leaders are thinking of next year's theme. So for us, like people who just like buy a costume and take it off and that's it, and we're just waiting for next year. Band leaders are thinking, what's my next theme? Somebody could have a dream and say, oh my God, I dream about butterflies. And that's their theme. Somebody could
Yep.
have, like just something. If it's flowers, the galaxy, Africa, and you think about that, then you get your drawings done. And the queen costume, you usually will go to a very good artist and you have to pay a lot of money to get that down on paper, what this costume is going to look like. And then from April on, that's when you have your launch of your band. And that is when you decide how you're going to put this together. But all through this time, you've been buying your stuff, buying your feathers, buying
Materials, yeah.
your wire, buying your fiberglass. It's basically a lifestyle. And for me, growing up in a household where this is what we did, my summers were in the mass camp with my dad or my sisters, family. It was a community. You didn't have to ask if you're going. You didn't have to ask if Auntie so and so is going to be there. They're leaving work and come to the mass camp for like 4 hours, go home, sleep, go to work, come back to the mass camp. And this is something people are doing volunteering their time and making sure that everything is sticked on properly. The theme, and that like you should be able to look at my costume and feel what that costume is trying to tell you. Like why is that bird doing that? Or
Yeah.
why is it only diamonds? Like am I playing something diamonds are silver, like so my theme and then how you portray your mask. For me, my thing was my dad let me choose my music. He never told me what music. I would listen and listen to music, and I knew when the hype of the song was, what I wanted to portray, how I wanted to dance my costume. One year, I actually played Galaxy, and that's when Michael Jackson came out with the moonwalk. So one year I came on, and in the middle of the stage, I came out in my costume and I did the moonwalk because we're playing Galaxy. And
So
the
you
crowd
gotta
went crazy,
incorporate
and
it.
I
Yep.
won that year. Yeah, so you got it. It's that's what they call it, play a mass.
And
Play like
how much
you
do
have to.
a typical queen mask costume? How much would something like that weigh?
Um, a whole lot. Well, you know what? Now that people are using fiberglass, fiberglass is lighter. But back when I started, it was just wire, and you had to have a welder come to the mass camp and do the welding first,
Yep, I
right?
remember
And
I remember seeing those sites as well.
yes, and then it goes on wheels. And but then as things got, like years go by, you find different ways of doing things, and that's when you learn to do fiberglass because it's lighter. So then now we can just put it on our back or something and wear it. So, but it's quite heavy. And I don't know if you know, Jamal, but one year my costume caught on fire.
Oh no, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wait, do I? I might have been young, but I think I remember.
Yeah. We used to remember Caribana used to be on university,
Yeah,
and we were going down. We played something to do with Africa. So I don't know if somebody was maybe smoking a cigarette or something, but flicked it, and my costume caught on fire. And because of it was a lot of like that type of straw material.
yeah.
In
Everything
no
just went.
time, my grandfather was dragging me out. I got cut. I got burned. But we're in university, so the hospitals were right there.
Right
I went
there.
into the hospital. They bandaged my arm, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to go.
See the
And
things
I
we
went right
do,
back on and put up with the band.
the things we do for the stuff we love. You know what I mean? So Auntie, so
Yeah.
with all those accolades and all these years in the Carabana game, um, do you have any highlights or extra special moments or things that stand out?
Um, I think for me, it's always the stage, the competition. Every time I hit that stage, it's like literally 5 minutes of like glory. And people who play mass in a section, I think they can also tell you that you're jumping up, going down the street, but it's when you hit that stage, it's like something happens.
It's
You
a whole
unleash.
different vibe.
Yeah, if you were tired, if you're hungry, if you had to go to the bathroom, all that you just start playing math, jump up and down, and because you want the judges to see you, you want the judges to understand, your costume, and you want them to feel your vibe, um, and that for me, it's always the stage, and I'm really happy that I'm able to pass this on to um, my kids and also my kids' friends. Like my my dad, a lot of people may not know, but my dad, Nip Davis, he was a mass maker. He brought a band since 1970. He came up here and joined his friend Whitfield Belasco. Whitfield Belasco's been here, started Carabana 1967. My dad came after, and what my dad used to say to me was money wasn't an option. Like a costume could be $70 for kids, and I would say, Dad, and he said, whatever they can pay. So money isn't. If you're in it for the money, you got to be in it for the love of carnival, love of um, mass making, love of just seeing people like. You sit back and you just like my dad would just sit back and just watch everybody jumping up and down, and you can see he was so happy whether he came first or whether he came last, the joy of just playing mass.
Wow. So what made you? When was the last time you you played Queen of the band?
Okay, I stopped playing Queen in 1987. That was the last year I won, and then the next year I had my first child. So I stopped for a good while, but I used to go to kiddies and take them down to see, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
And then I came back when I believe I can't remember the year, but I know I came back in the 90s, late 90s, and I came third that year. The person that built my mass that year was David Devine, and I just want to, if anybody knows the mass, the how do I say it? Venom. If anyone has played with Venom, they would know Dawn. Her mom just passed away, so my
Rest in
condolences
peace.
to that family.
Condolences,
They
definitely.
have been involved with Carabana for years. That's how I know Dawn. We were both in the mass camp together as teenagers. But he built my mass that year. I came third, and then my dad passed away, and it's just for me, it hasn't been the same playing Queen. Um, I, maybe I would maybe I would come back and do it again. But I do play mass still. I've been to Trinidad to play mass 2019 again because I used to play as a child,
Mhm.
and I play with Louis Saldina now, and so it's in my blood. I'm not.
It's in
I
your
don't think
blood.
I'm. No, I told my kids if I can't walk, decorate my wheelchair and push me down. Like, I'm going.
All right, Marcia. Well, with being with so much passion about Caribana being in your blood from since you were before you were born to when you're going to be going down the parade in a decorated wheelchair. What do you think about the fact that Toronto, Canada, the Caribbean diaspora in where we're from, we have been missing specifically Caribana for 2 years now? I want to know what effects do you think this has on the culture? How have you been affected, and how does this affect Toronto in general? What's your take?
I know it's something that people look forward to. It's one of those highlights. I know people would say as soon as Carabana is done, say it gets cold, school is around the corner. It was almost like that was the mark for s- y- summer's over. So Carabana has always been a highlight, and I think for most people, even if you just go to see it, because when you go down there, you see people from all over the world. You see people, just like you feel like a star. Like if you have on a costume, people are asking to take pictures with you. It's just something where you just feel appreciated in a different way in your city, and then you're bringing culture right to the city. So I feel that has been missing. To get back on track, I don't know with all the regulations how it's going to be in the future. I really don't know if it's going to be the same. But I just hope that everybody just don't give up on it. Don't say, well, child I can, but like don't give up on it.
Yeah.
If it has to be smaller, it has to be smaller. If we have to do things a little different, come out and let's do it. Let's get it back to so that even our kids know about it. You know, because it's something that it has it's put Canada on the map worldwide. So let's keep it going. I miss it. My kids miss it. My kids' friends, my friends' kids, they call me and they're like, Auntie Marcy, I can't wait. Like everybody is missing it. So we're just praying that it just opens up and we can be how it was.
Yeah, well, I do see there's stuff there. There are parades and carnivals going on other places with certain measures and things like that. So hopefully, like you said, we can get back to a new normal or what you want to call it. Now, Marcia, we do have some other guests in the lobby. So before we go, before we bring them on, I want to know if you could let the viewers know what you have going on because you're also an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, so can you let them know about your business, where they could find you, or anything else you have coming up next?
Hey, well, COVID has done a lot of things. It has also opened up your eyes to like, your own abilities and also how sometimes a 9 to 5, which I'm all for 9 to 5, but sometimes like how things can change so fast. Whether you're being downsized, whether you're working from home, whether your whole position is no longer needed because COVID. Um, so it just opened my eyes to having my own business, and I decided also my health was an issue because I'm like, well, this COVID thing seems to be hitting people who have health issues. So if I get healthier, then you know what I mean? Like it's
Less
almost
risk,
like
yeah.
I have to take action too. I can't just sit here and say, we're not gonna get COVID because I'm Marcia. Like, no, you know, it's not a color thing, it's not an age thing. So my health I took because I'm asthmatic, so I was like, you know what? Marcia, you got to do something. So I decided to become a TLC, that's Total Life Changes Ambassador, which basically deals with your body and your pocket. So you can make money while you're getting healthy and you're helping other people to get healthy. So I see it as a service. because it's helping me and it's helping others. I've seen, um, you probably see me a lot. If you're following me, you see me with this all the time. My vitamins, my tea, and there's like 40 other products. So if some people say I can't drink the tea, I'm like, there's always something for you. Go on my link. And Marcia Booty is my Instagram name. I have a link in my bio. Click on that, and my main thing, I said, if I can help one person just feel better physically, and because a lot of people, like, they've gained weight over the whole pandemic stage, um, and if I can just make someone just feel better, I'm happy. So click the link, everyone.
We'll post the link to your products in the chat as well. We got a lot of great information, and we're getting such great feedback from your stories. A lot of people are resonating with some of your stories. Stacy said, like, listening to your interview was like describing her life in the mass camp as well, growing up. Um,
Mhm.
and also, just one last quick question. Tiny Brit asked, would you ever consider having your own band with your friends and family?
I've thought of it before, even with my family. But what I really feel is that I need people to understand the reason behind why we're doing it. If you're coming in, if because you cannot do it by yourself. You need an army of
Takes a
people
yeah, you need
behind you.
a literal army of people.
You need an army of people behind you that is in it for the just for the joy of, like, because there's pressure. When you go to a mass camp, especially the 2 nights before people are coming to pick up your costumes and something's not ready, and or you're a month in and then you hear that this supplier doesn't have the feathers you need. Um, there's so much things involved, and I just feel like if I had a strong, and I'm not saying I don't have a strong team, but if I really put it out there and I can find a team, an army behind me that would stand with me, I would do it. I definitely would.
All right. Well, Stacy, there you have it. Tiny Brit, there we have it. If we can put together a solid, reliable team, and this Caribana thing finds a way to, relinquish itself in a nice, safe way for the city, then it's something we're gonna have to think about in the future. So again, Auntie Marcia, aka Marcia Booty, I want to thank you with the most love and blessings for taking your time to come on the show, and sharing your experiences with the masses.
Okay, well, I enjoy being here, and I'm glad everybody saw a different side of me, because a lot of a lot of people don't know a lot of that about me, unless you're really close to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I was able to come on and just show this side, and also just even show that um, Carabana is an event. It's multicultural, but it's also something where um, it's birth, but with passion. Whoever started this, they had a passion for it, and they, like, example, Harold Saldina, he passed it on to his son, Louis Saldina.
One more. I think she's. You there? Okay, I got you there. All right, Auntie Marcia, I'm gonna say thank you again for joining the show. When we have the party episode, we're gonna bring you back, because if for one thing, I know you like to have a good time. So thank you again for joining the show, and we'll talk after. Have yourself a great evening. People, we just spoke with Marcia Booty, the 6-time Caribana Queen, the 4-time second place um, winner, and multiple time third place winner. So we want to shout out talent. We want to shout out, creativity, and we want to shout out people that, take Caribana serious and have it to their root. Now, people, this next person I'm gonna bring on, when it comes to soca music, when it comes to carnival, when it comes to Caribana, that man name can't left out. I'm gonna bring him on right now. Soca Sweetness.
Yes, brother. What he's saying?
What's going on, family? You good?
Yeah, you can hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly clear. People,
All
for
right.
those who don't know, this is DJ Soca Sweetness. Been in the game for a number of years. Soca Sweetness, before we get started,
Mhm.
I want to just ask you. I want to do a quick blessedness check. I want to know, how are you doing today, brother? Did you wake up? Did you do something positive for yourself, for your family?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm good. Everything is blessed. You know what I mean? Took the kids out on a little bike ride and, chilling out. I was just chilling out with my mom and them, right? Listening to Auntie over there, listening to some roots. Because they're
Yeah,
crazy.
man.
Some of the people that you mentioned are the same people I call auntie and uncle too. Yeah, it's nuts.
So Kerwin, for those who don't know, let them know who you are, let them know how long you've been involved in the business, and let them know how long you've been involved in Caribana.
Well, DJ Soca Sweetness. I've been in this industry more or less from born into it, more or less. You know what I mean? From like your auntie mentioned some names like Dolly and Ken Shaw. Those are Uncle Ken Shaw and Auntie Dolly to me, right? I spent countless hours at the age of like 4, 5, and 6 in the mass camps, helping Auntie Dolly and them create their mass for King and Queen on the Thursday, and you know what I mean. Look, just been in it from time, and then as a youth, strayed away for a little bit, just because like basketball takes over and so forth, and soccer and and then came back full. I would say like full music by like 15 years old. I was fully committed to like soca and carnival and all of that good stuff. You know what I mean?
All right, so let me interject there. So you were involved, like most of us, you were involved as a youth. Were you
Yeah,
playing mass, or were you just helping
yeah,
build
yeah.
mass and with the family?
Playing, building.
So
I
you're
mean,
playing
remember,
mass.
you remember when I say building, like I'm 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. You get
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like it's early. So when I say building, like you're
And
giving
picking
me
up the
like a
sequence and getting yelled at for messing up.
right, right, right. You're putting the sequence in a little wire or it's a little glue gun thing, and half the time you're burning up your hand, and you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like it's that stuff. You know what I mean? At that age,
So,
and then
so like you said, we go from a point where we're playing and we say, we're too old for that now.
no, I to be honest, I love maths, and I continue to
Okay.
play maths. Yeah, even like all up to now, like as I like, I'm with Carnival Nations, and like every Carabana, like I'm in a costume.
Yeah, that's
You
facts.
get what
That's
I'm
facts.
saying?
That's
Yeah, man,
facts.
I'm always in a costume. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, one might not be full costume, because you know what I mean. The belly might be hanging a little bit, but I have my shorts on, and I have my little like, I'll put on like a half a costume. You know what I mean? But most of the time, I'm in like a shorts and you know what I mean?
You
Like
make
all
sure
the
you
little.
make sure you're in the celebration.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in it. Like I always tell people, I hate playing the road. Like I like playing the assembly. Everybody gets together. I'll
Yeah,
DJ the
yeah, yeah.
assembly. Everybody's together and we're all jamming and pre-warming. But you see, when we hit that lake track, yo, I want to be on the road, brother. On the road. I want to be on the road. That's where all the fun is. You know what it is to look like when like you're mashing up the road, right? And you look down and all your friends are jumping up and drinking and you're up on a truck.
Bro,
You get what
Kerwin,
I'm saying?
no, you're right because
Yeah, man.
you know, nothing as much as the people who are on the ground want to be on the truck, we
Yeah,
are look
man.
down there so like, yo, be
100%. I'm ready to go on the road and take a little trip. And that's what I do. I play the assembly. And then as soon as we go down the road, like, I mean, I'll take a chip. I mean, I also help with like background stuff, like if people need food or water, and like if costumes are getting tangled in wire and all that stuff. It's me and a couple other guys like helping do stuff. You know what I mean? So we don't, it's not only chip. If I'm not DJing, I also help like just so helping the band run as smooth as it can. You know what I mean?
all right. So you started to get back heavily involved around 15. Was that when you started DJing?
Yeah, yeah. That was when music took over. That was
All
when,
right.
you know what I mean? I was full fledged because my dad was DJing, my uncle was DJing. So it was just natural that, like, it was just a matter of time, then I would say, that it just took over
It,
there.
it was
You know
both.
what I
It,
mean?
it was bound to happen.
Right, right, right. I started going into all the feds and, and like, I remember my mom and them dragged me to a party and I didn't want to go and they dragged me. You know what I mean? It was Metro Convention Center. Elder James had put it on. And it was Ram. It was a tribute to Winston Bailey, Shadow. And it was packed. And I was like, all right, let me go check it out. And Yo, from that day, man, like I never like it was like okay, man. Started looking at my dad's records, started playing the music at home now. Stopped listening to like R&B and hip hop and reggae as much. You know what I
And it
mean?
was
Like it
just
was,
soca.
yo, it was a full switch every day. You know
So
what I mean?
did you like when you were 15, and is that when you decided to come up with the name Soca Sweetness, or how did, like, where along the journey did
Yeah,
that stamp?
right. So like, so as I'm DJing now, I don't have a name. I'm just going as Kerwin, right? And there was a group of girls that gave me the name. I was playing a Sweet 16 party, and you know, Scarborough, we talk different, you know. So after the party, now they come up to you and say, "Yo, Kerwin, yo, the soca was sweet. Still, the soca was sweet." And I was like, "That's it right there." You know what I mean? I said, "All right, soca sweet still." I go take this soca sweetness, and then like started brainstorming for ideas, and I was stuck on it because I didn't know how to like portray sweetness properly. And then I saw Honey Nut Cheerios commercial, right?
Okay, so we're getting the
Yeah,
real story, guys.
right, right,
We're
right.
getting to
Then
hear how the B drop in.
right. So then I saw the bee, I saw the honey. I said yes. I called my boy Kevin. I said, look, I don't know where you're gonna get this bee from, but we need a bee. It's Soca Sweetness and a bee. That is the logo right there, and that's how the bee was formed. Because like we've changed the wording like 100 times, but the bee has it's changed a little bit, but it's never like it still has on its Nike shoes. And you know what I mean? Instead of the SS, we put an I in on the chest now, and you know what I mean? Like, so we still changed it up a little bit, but it's the B has always stayed the same. You
It's always
know?
been, and anybody who knows about Soca Sweetness, you have to know that that B is
Right.
this is
Symbolizes a lot.
this is this is
Yeah.
this is people. People know
Right.
me when it comes to promotion and branding.
Mm.
But people, this man's been in the game before me. So when you see that B, when you hear that buzz, you automatically know which
Right.
DJ is in the place.
Right.
Right?
100%.
So Soca Sweetness. Now that whole branding, that whole thing,
Mm.
you have the buzz, the party, you have the
Yeah.
weakness for
The
sweetness.
sweetness.
Now
Yeah.
what like what about what got you into the marketing, the promotion, the branding? Like, was how did that aspect of the game get involved?
I think just naturally just being competitive. You get what I'm saying? When I was coming up, or when I was, I should say, solo enough, you had like Jay doing Whiteout and like Lick and Stick, and Bandit was doing like All and everybody had like these crazy concepts. So now like you just couldn't come with like Looney Tooney Fete. You know what I mean? You had to come with something. All right. So it's the buzz. Everybody wears yellow and black. You get
Yep.
what I'm saying? We're gonna
Weakness
bring
for
like
sweetness, where you
right,
there's the
right. The
snow
baby
cones, the
teeth. You're
slushies.
right, right, right. We just
I
started
know, I
adding.
know.
Right. So as whatever we took the name and whatever we saw the vision, and even up until today, to this day, like we still pushing the vision. You get what I'm saying? Like you were with us on Sunday, like
Yeah.
you saw the cabanas and you see this glow in the dark furniture. Like we're still
You always
pushing
make sure you
a
do something
vision.
different. Now,
Right.
one thing you didn't mention as well is, again, something that I see you doing from, I might even say before a lot of other people, was even at the events, you had branded items at the events, whether
Right.
it's
Right. Right.
t-shirts, rags,
Yeah.
bathing suit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were branding things from since them, stamping the name.
Right. 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 And the thing is, like, you're doing things and you're doing things just because you've seen like the past do them. You're right. So like I've been around like Michael Williams, Ghetto. I mean, you have him on shortly, but I was around him when he was printing like 2,000 rags to go down the road, to go down the road. So now naturally, when it's your turn now, everybody gets a turn, right? So it's your turn now. You're growing up. You're just gonna follow in the footsteps that like you saw the leaders lead. So
Yep.
that's why even up until this day, I still do rags Caribana every Caribana. Like there's not one year that goes by that I don't do rags, and people love them. And I'm the only DJ doing rags. People may
Yeah.
do bandanas and so, but I'm doing the authentic, like big, like 2 by 3 foot rags where like you can wrap it around your waist and stuff because I'm a fet goer too. I don't like small rags. I like big rags because You know, a rag is you're supposed to sit down on the ground. You can put it up there, and you can sit
Yeah.
outside. You know what I mean? Like you don't want no small rag. You know, you can wrap it around your waist if you just if you're a female. You know, and I still see that up until this day. If I give it for Caribana, like a female may wrap her waist. You know what I mean? Because she may be
That's
getting a
true.
little too much attention at one point. You know, she'll wrap her waist with the rag and she'll go down the road. I have plenty pictures of it. You know, people will just take a picture and say, "Yo, look what I saw on the
Look, I
road."
see
You
your
know?
rag there. I see this,
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Police officers, everything. Like I have pictures of with my rag and stuff. You know. So and then with the cup, we've done so much swimsuits, shorts. We've done styrofoam, like big
The
number
cups. Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, we've done like
Yeah, I
it's so
remember
much
those
stuff.
too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, yeah,
So,
man.
so Kerwin, have you always been involved DJing in Caribana? Like, are you always DJing on the road, or when did you start DJing on the actual truck?
I was when I started DJing, I had a couple years off. I used to roll with Jesse Matthews sometimes, Wicked Band at the time, you know.
Yep, yep,
So I
yep.
did. I never used to DJ. I used to roll with the Enforcers, a great time. And then I think when I was about what, maybe 19, when I got my first gig with Kenny Coombs in Toronto Caribbean Connection, and I rolled with them for about like 4 or 5 years, and it was 4 or 5 good years. You know, like the band started increasing in popularity, and Kenny gave us the like a lot of creative direction with like how we wanted to like do blockos and stuff. So like we were holding blockos like once a month and packed, like you
Facts.
know, like 1,500, 2,000 people, like packed, you know, and it was just us alone DJing, you know, and we just built it. We built the band, but I mean, politics above me, like you know, the band broke up first, you know what I mean, and then
Yeah.
at the same time as the band broke up, Carnival Nations was forming, and at that time, I was rolling with everybody with Carnival Nations. Like I would like Jester, Bandit, Bryce, and Curtis
Yeah, these guys
were
were
my
on
big
your
brothers.
parties, and yeah, so
Right,
it was a
right,
natural
right.
progression.
Right, right. So they came to me and they were like, "Yo, what are you saying?" And I was like, "Well, to be honest, like the band is giving trouble, so like I'm open." And they're like, "Yo, they're forming Carnival Nations and they want me to be." So it was a no-brainer. I know it was perfect timing. You know, it was like you know, I didn't have to look for another band for 1 year. It was from Kenny Coombs straight into
Straight
Carnival
into
Nations.
nation.
Yeah, and I've been with Nations ever since. You know.
All right, so Kerwin, would you say in all those years being involved in Caravana, from playing mass younger to DJing and being
Mm.
involved, are there any Caravana years that stand out to you more than others?
Yeah, man. Well, I'll give you some the beginning, the middle, and the high. So in the beginning with Kenny Coombs, you know what I mean. It's the roots, and these are the things you gotta appreciate the most. You know what I'm saying? So you're going down with like a 40-foot truck, and you have like about 8 speakers on it. You know what I mean? You just have like two speakers, two, two speakers by the DJ booth, and then there's nothing in the middle,
And it
and then
just
at the
goes on
very
the
back, yeah, then like about 6 speakers. You get me? And right, so that's the DJ truck. The band truck is fully loaded, 32 bins. So like you're running, where the B truck, right? So so we don't all the masqueraders and everything are with the A truck, and we're the B truck, right? I mean, mind you, you're paying your dues as well. I'm talking 19, 20 years old, right? So you're paying your dues. You know what I'm saying? But like we had about maybe 30 people on the road with us. And I just said, hey, this ain't making sense. And I just came on the mic and I said, everybody on the road, just jump on the truck and let we just party on the truck.
on the
And we
same
turned
beat on the small truck.
on the same B truck because we had the whole middle was empty. We had no speakers. We had nothing. We had 2 speakers. I'm all the way at the top of the truck by the generator. In the middle, there's nothing, and at the end, by the very back of the truck, that's where they put all the speakers. And I turned all the speakers towards the flatbed, and we had the greatest time ever going down the lakeshore, brother. 30
Gotta
people.
improvise.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. And it was all friends too, right? So we had a great time. I mean, that was in the beginning, the middle. First year going down the road with Nations was because it's first time. You know what I mean? And it's the first time like we didn't expect Nations to sell the way it sold,
Well, that's what I was
right?
just about to say, because I
Yeah,
remember Nations when they
yeah,
came out.
Back.
It was like, yo, is
Yeah,
Caribana
back.
done? Like these guys,
Right,
whew.
right. Yeah. So like, so you're with Kenny Coombs, which was like about 150 to 200 people band, and then all of a sudden you just jump with a band that's like at 1,500 on their first year, and you're like, wait, right? So it's a total different experience, And then on a high point, like I remember, like maybe like 3 years ago, yeah, maybe 2018, man. This is just a funny one. So there's a Moet truck, right? But the Moet truck is like, it's more of like done up, right? So it's speakers in the back, same kind of similarity to the Kenny Coombs truck, right? But in the middle of the flatbed now, they have a lot of tables and palm trees and all this kind of stuff set up, right? And I'm like, oh man, like, so Bryce comes up to me and he's like, hey, nobody wants to play on the truck. You got to get somebody to play on the truck. You lead truck one. Um, this is we have somebody leading truck two. This is the Moet truck, and then we have a truck three. I said, all right, no problem. So I go on truck one, and everybody knows what I'm coming to tell them. Everybody knows that Bryce told Kerwin to tell somebody they have to come out and play the
Yeah,
Moet truck.
yeah, yeah.
So I come on, and everybody looks at me, and Markson comes up to me first. He's like, hey, I'm not moving, huh? He's like, I'm not going on no truck. Because the truck A is banging. Huh? Truck A is like about like 40 bins, and it's
Nobody
like
don't want to leave the truck.
yeah, man, lower deck and higher deck and fans blowing and all this kind of thing. So then I didn't bother to argue with anybody because everybody, you could see it in everybody's eyes, right? And it's like, okay, well, I forget it. You know what? So I go back
I'll
to
just
Bryce.
go.
Yeah, man. I said I'll just go. So I go to Bryce. I go, you know what? Is Moet, are they giving out Moet on the truck? He's like, yeah, we have like 20 bottles of Moet. I'm like, what? I go, yo. So I grabbed the whole crew now. I say, yo, we're going to go play the Moet truck. There's 20 bottles of Moet, and we're going to have a great time. And we can sit down on chairs and ting. Imagine, no Moet is on the truck.
Oh!
Bryce set me up so I would go, yeah. It was so vexed.
Yo, and you done to rally the troops and everything.
Yes, man. I went to the rep. I go, yo, do you guys have the Moet? She's like, no. She's like, I gave those guys the Moet at the mass camp, yeah, but nobody, I don't think anybody brought it to the road. I was like, well, what do you want? Yo, man. Yo, then I played the whole road by myself, and one DJ on the Moet. But don't get me wrong, like, it was wicked, because, like, same thing. I invited everybody up, and we had tables and chairs, and, like, Moet did a wicked job, like, decorating the actual float. You know what I mean? So it was like I remember even DJ Steven coming up to me and saying, yo, how'd you get the Moet truck? You know what I mean? Like if it was like, oh, yo, like I would have did that.
You would have did that.
Yeah,
Kerwin's like, yo,
yeah.
Kerwin's probably thinking, yo, you should have told me this an hour ago.
Right? Imagine. But yeah. But those are some good experiences. On top of like Nations has been like Ram, like I've seen like, like 3,500, you just look left and you look right, and it's just a sea of people. Truck can't move, and you know what I mean? Rail pace and jumping up and people fainting and the madness in the carnival, you know what I mean? I wouldn't trade it for anything though.
So have you had any moments where you were like you didn't know what to play, or it was time for the stage and it was like, all right, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? You ever had any of those moments?
No. That's like that's like second nature right now. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
guess,
saying?
yeah,
Like,
definitely, yeah.
yeah, man. Like when it comes, what, like half the time, like I just put a DJ to play, and then I'm coordinating with like Bryce or SKF or whoever is like saying, okay, play the intro. Okay, play the second track.
Oh, okay.
Play this section. Announce, right? Because we're crossing stage, so you got to introduce. And so I'm just more, I do a lot of coordinating. I used to play the stage, but now, like, half the time, like, you'll see me, like, I remember one year, like, the cordless died when we were on stage, right? And I'm, like, sprinting to the next truck.
To try to find one.
Yeah, man, jump, like, Sunshine was there, wicked, amazing, reliable, threw batteries at me, catching batteries from the truck, running back up to the stage, plug it in for SKF. SKF takes the mic, runs back on the stage. Yo, crazy stuff, man. That road is if behind the scenes, that road is no joke, man. That road is no joke.
So, Kerwin, let me ask you a question,
Mm-hmm.
right? For those people who may think that being a DJ on the road is easy, is it something that's easy to do? Is it a difficult task? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street?
Yeah.
Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like, how do you compare playing on the road with playing on the street? Like compared to playing in a dance or at a different event?
Playing on the road, the secret of to playing on the road, well, one of the secrets I should say is that you just have to learn to play like songs. You people want to hear for like 10 minutes
Yeah. Yep.
kind
Yep.
of thing, right? Right? You have your road songs that you like. You don't want to mix fast when you're on the road. You want the, create that nice vibe. That's why,
That
like,
vibe.
in Trinidad you'll see a lot of road mixes. A lot of producers come up with road mixes, which is like it'll be like 8 minutes long, and there's a lot of rhythm and song and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I like road mixes. I like just to play the song, like like for a long time, and then start it back, and without like a lot of like wheeling and MC. Like I'll mix the song back in, and like you won't even realize like
You
it's
won't
the
even
song
realize
started
you
all
you
over
better
again,
just
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
those
So
ones too. My
yeah,
That's something my dad showed me from long time too.
100%, 100%. Yeah, Ghetto showed me that too. That's a regular thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man.
You gotta know how to let tune play and the right tunes. Not to say you can't mix in a little few that you can mix fast and stuff, because like I've done that. But like when you play like that fast wine by Marshall, like you know what I mean? You want to let that song marinate for like a good nice little 8 minutes kind of vibe, so you can just
Yeah.
groove down the road. You know what I mean? You gotta understand too, like the road is different from dance. Everybody's tripping the truck. Like when you play that song, you gotta give time to man to find a little boom,
The
see a
final
line a
thing.
little bit. You know what I mean? Right? That truck will move for 30 seconds. You can't be mixing that song a minute and 30 seconds in. You know what I mean? They let that play for 8 minutes so people can enjoy that vibe. You know? Yeah, man. That's like secrets to the road.
Secrets to the road. So Kerwin, we haven't
Mm,
had Caribana for a year. And we may not have it this year, right? Now,
right.
with a name like Soca Sweetness, we
Mm,
know you're heavily involved in Soca, Caribana, and Calypso. How
right.
does no Caribana affect a Soca DJ? Like, wouldn't this be your most important time of year?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. And it has for the past 2 years. Including this year. What I will say is that like for the past like last year and even this year. This year I'm taking it a step up. I'll talk about it just now. But like last year, we created our entire week. You get what I'm saying? So like I did Bacchanal Thursday at my house.
I
Right?
remember.
You
You got to be
get
innovative, man.
what? Betcha. You get what I'm saying? And then Friday, I did Twilight had something with Jump Up Kings, and then Saturday, Atlantic Mass had Privilege, which was amazing. You know what I mean? And then Sunday, I ended up playing like a little backyard party and stuff, and we created our own. Now, don't get me wrong, like usually, like I probably have like 30 bookings within that,
Within
right?
those
Within
three,
that,
4 days,
right?
yeah.
So, right, but like I was still able to create a little income for myself, like within the madness last year, and then well this year now, like, we have we're doing Carabana Friday, Saturday, well Carabana Friday, Carabana Saturday day, Carabana Saturday night, Carabana Sunday, and Carabana Monday. We're doing all of that this year,
Again,
right? And
you gotta make do. You gotta keep it going. So that's good.
right, right. So, and it's nice little themes, you know what I mean? So, like the Caravana Friday, we'll do our Heaven all white concept, which is the all white concept we've been doing for years. You know what I mean? With angels, and we're gonna like create like a nice wicked ambience. We got Specs the boss on that. Caravana Saturday day, we're actually doing costumes. So like we're doing it's a costume party. You can either wear a costume from that you have at home, or we are providing costumes. So I got my homegirl Latoya Mystique Mass in the mass camp right now, building mass. You know what I mean? I have a wicked
Building some fresh mass. Okay, okay.
fresh mass. You know what I mean? I have a wicked graphic designer, EPG designing up my flyer hopefully after. You know what I mean? Yeah, so we're launching that, and then Caravana Saturday night we have myself and DJ Oshan. That'll be just a straight carnival pump. Sunday we have Sunday Fete, which is myself, Higher Image, and the owners of Rum Diary, Carl and Lisa, right? So we're all three of us are teaming up to produce Sunday Fete on the Sunday, and then Monday we'll do a last lap pump, man. So like basically like we've been creating our own carnivals, like or keeping the vibe and the
Keeping the
culture
vibe,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, we've
We
been
may not be on the
right,
road, but you're keeping the
right,
culture alive,
right.
which
Not
is
right.
perfect.
We're keeping it going, not to the capacity that we know it, but we're working with what we have to produce something. You get what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean?
So, Kerwin, as a DJ, as a promoter, as somebody who's been involved in the entertainment industry, like
Mhm.
how do you think not having this Caribana parade, this Caribana Friday night, how does this affect the culture in Toronto, the city, if it does?
Well, I think Well, I mean, it definitely affects because we won't have the audiences, like, right? Even if people are going out right now, it's like 250 people or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? And I'm seeing everybody's boat ride sell out, and I'm seeing everybody's,
Yep.
Markham Fairgrounds, everything is selling out. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So that means people are looking to go out, and
To
the
go out.
culture, the culture is there. I mean, what I'm hoping is that people are a bit more appreciative of the culture because it's been like 18 months, like, hiatus. You get me? So I'm hoping that, like, like when people come back, like, you're not reaching the fete at 1 o'clock in the morning and thing, you're showing up at a good respectable 11:30 time to enjoy yourself, man. You know what I mean? Because this is what we're missing. This is what, like, everybody was craving for, like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, we did events like through the pandemic, small events, like 100 people events. Like, I did my birthday party and stuff, like very small, very intimate. You know what I mean? But like, I am safe, but we still did events.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And it was, and everybody, it was a reliever for everybody, like a serious reliever. Like, we had people just saying, "Yo, you don't even know how bad I needed this right now."
Yeah, no,
And
I
I'm
believe
just
you.
like, "Yo,
I
man,
believe it because even some of the people I seen, I was like, oh, I'm like, I know you don't go out that often. You know what I mean? So to
right,
see them, it was
right,
like, they were
yeah,
just like,
man."
ah,
Yeah, yeah, and I was telling people because one girl, she's like, "Yo, is it safe?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, it's safe. Like, I don't ram it. Like, we
yeah,
have the hall, and I don't ram it. Like, everything is separated, like, to the point where everybody could breathe and no one's in anybody's zone." And she's like, "Okay," because, like, she's like, "Honestly, man, like, I'm gonna kill somebody, or like, I need a little outing." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, don't worry." And it was like, yo, like, people my age and stuff with jobs, and the homeschooling caused a lot of stress with, like, certain, like, people in our crowd and stuff. So, like,
yeah.
that little events and stuff that we did, whether it was Caribana or little events throughout the pandemic, like,
Just nice
yo,
little
like,
vibe, like nice little
yeah, man,
getaway.
yeah, yeah, and we connected with people, like deeper than we would have if it was like somebody randomly calling you and
Yeah,
saying,
no,
"Hey,
it's true.
yo, how much is the party tonight?" Then you're just like, "Yeah, man, ding, 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 ding." Now it was just like you were understanding, like, "Yeah, man, it's like, yo, homeschool is killing me. How is it for you?"
Yeah,
When
you're getting
we
that
were,
extra
yeah,
extra
yeah, yeah,
conversation.
right, and it was COVID, so like everything was slowed down. So now you had the time to, like converse with the people who support you a little bit more. Then it's just not, "Hey, what you saying? You good? Yeah, man, you good. I'm looking for tickets for so and so, so and so. Yeah, man, no problem. Link Nate, ting ting ting. Any problems? Link me back. All right, cool. Later." And that
Yeah,
was it. You didn't ask them how their day was. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Nowadays, you're making sure to
Yeah,
check the family's
right,
good. But
right, right,
that's
right. Everybody you message now is like, "Yo, you good? Family's good." You talk for a little bit, and then, and like that has connected us back with, like, a lot of our crowd, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I mean, we've lost some crowd because COVID just, like, retired some people, but we've also gained, like, a whole new crowd that were, like, throughout the pandemic. Like I said, you know what I mean? And, like, everybody's close. Like we may not talk every day, but we'll send, like, DMs, and everybody's sending memes around, and you're in the little WhatsApp group. So, like, everybody's still kind of active with everybody. You know what I mean?
now one thing I heard you mention in a couple minutes ago with like everything kind of resetting, and this is
Mm.
something I actually heard the promoter from BRT weekend say the other day, that he found that when they're doing the events right now, people are coming out earlier. So
Yeah, for
he
sure.
said the same thing. He
Yeah,
said
yeah,
he
yeah.
said hopefully this whole thing was kind of a reset so that
Right.
people,
Yeah, man.
want to party more, enjoy more of the
Yeah,
party and things like that. So
yeah.
as soon as you said that, it caught me because they're saying that
Mhm.
from the reggae industry in
Yeah, yeah.
Jamaica, and you're saying
So,
that Soca Toronto, and
yeah,
it all reflects.
yeah. It was the entire scene needed a reflector. Mean to reset. Sorry. Even when I was before COVID. Like, and I'm talking about like 2000, like 16, 17. Promoters were already saying that, yo, the scene's going to like the shits right now, man. Like, it needs to be reset. Like, you think it's gonna happen, you think it's gonna happen. I'm like, it has to. You know, once you keep shoving, like it's gonna regurgitate. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't shove things down people's throat. And the scene was getting blah. Now, like, everything is selling out, right? At this current moment, everything is selling out. Boat rides, fetes. You know what I mean? We're doing every Sundays. Those have been all sold out. You know what I'm saying? So like, everybody's appreciating and what they haven't had. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure in about a year and a half, everybody go back to the same thing, right? You know what I mean? But at least it's right now. It's good to see that, you know, like people are showing up early because there's even a couple of fetes that I went to go check out, and I showed up at 12 thinking that people would be showing up at 12. Yo, the party was packed.
It was swinging
Like,
already.
yeah, like what I mean packed, like within its like limitations. Like, I'm like, yo, how much people? It's like, yo, like everybody's here, and like running up and down, and I was like, oh wow, everybody came out early, huh? And they're like, yeah, man, and I was like, that is like really good, because that was one of the problems with the parties, even boat rides. People were showing up late for boat rides,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like your boat, were boat rides ready to go, and half your audience in the parking lot's not even there yet.
And Kerwin, you know what the crazy thing is, right?
Mm.
The half of the people that aren't there, you know why they're not there, because they
Yeah.
said to themselves, that boat ain't leaving on time.
100%. 100%.
So they're like,
100%.
all right, the boat leaves 6 o'clock. All right, may I start
Yeah,
get
man.
dressed at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, man. Yo, my phone, like if the boat, let's say the boat's boarding at like, or departing at 1, my phone is going crazy from 12:30. You know,
Yeah.
yo, yo, we're on the highway.
Did it leave yet?
It's,
Did it? I'm parking. I
yeah,
know,
man.
I know, I know.
Oh, yo, your phone's going nuts, man, and you're just telling everybody, look, man, drive safe, like rush. You know what I mean? Hurry up. Yeah, man. But yeah, so we'll see, man. Hopefully, it is a nice little reset for the scene. I mean, it seems that way so far. You know?
Yeah, things are opening back up, like you said. People
Yeah,
are going out. People are having a good time.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
well, Kerwin, let the people them know like what you have coming up. I know you described a couple events.
right.
Let them know again, and let them know if you have anything planned for the fall, any winter events, any big things popping.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, keep it locked to. You can check out SocaSweetness.com, or you can go to at SocaSweetness on IG. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming on. Like we got every Sundays. A nice little secret location up in Markham. Wiggums has been there. It's
Lovely,
fire
lovely.
every Sunday, right? You know what I mean? Even I guess I'll announce it now. We're starting the Saturdays at that same spot as well. Starting on the 21st of August, we'll be doing Saturdays there. You know, so we have nice little like a whole bunch of concepts, like different concepts. You know, like Just for Kicks, which will be a shoe concept. So all those people who love shoes, like Tricky and Black Reaction and Specs,
Yeah,
all those guys are like into their Jordans and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So we're doing an event called Just for Kicks, which is a shoe party for all the shoe lovers, which is like, show off your shoe.
yeah.
Not really too much of a party because ain't nobody want to dance in them kind of
Yeah.
$600 shoes.
But you
You
get
know
to
what I mean?
flash off your new kicks and
Right, right. We got some comedy shows coming. We got movie nights coming. You know what I'm saying? So we're just working. You know what I mean? Working with what we have right now, and like I mean, so far so good. You know what I mean?
well, I know you've never been a person to just sit down and sit still. So if
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
nothing's going on, you're gonna make something go on. So
100%, hundred
like you said,
percent.
people, you got to stay posted to socasweetness.com. Check out
Mm.
at DJ Soca Sweetness on Instagram. Soca Sweetness, anything else you have to say towards the people about Caribana? Anything about the lack of Caribana? Anything else you got to say to the people?
Oh no, man. Just love, positive. You know what I mean? Keep your mind positive. Once you keep it that positive, everything else will be positive, right? Starts
Ah,
starts with the mind, right? So keep your mind positive, and whatever you want, you'll get. You get me?
all right, Kerwin. Well, don't know.
All
I
right,
want to
wait.
say thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for taking the time and bless up
Thanks for
yourself. And
having me, brother.
and we'll talk
Yeah,
in
man.
a little bit.
All right, brother. Respect.
Bless up.
Easy.
People, if you just joined us or if you just joined out for the middle of the interview, we were just speaking with DJ Soca Sweetness. Been in this music and soca industry since he was a kid. And after, when becoming a teenager, decided to get into the DJ game. And again, because he was involved and family was involved in Caribana, he decided to take it to the next level and continue DJing, continue throwing events. To this day, Soca Sweetness is still involved in Caribana, making moves, putting on events, working with the promoters, and putting on for the city. So again, we want to shout out everybody that's doing what they can to help keep this culture alive. We were supposed to have Michael, aka Ghetto, from the regulars band on the show, but I think he had a situation and had to leave. So we're gonna bring him back on another episode, and we're gonna get a little bit of history on Michael Williams and his story on Caribana. Now, people, let me tell you about myself. I've also been involved in Caribana since I was a kid. My parents have been heavily involved in Caribana. I have aunts and uncles that are band leaders, that are mass leaders. So I've always been involved in Caribana, playing mass, from since being a kid. Now, as I got older, as I got to the teenage years, I decided to stop putting on costume and playing mass, but I was always involved in the festival, whether it was providing music and speakers to the different bands, with my dad, because my dad's a DJ, and my dad was always providing equipment, hooking up equipment, doing technical support for various bands that needed our services. So as a youth and as a teenager, I was one of those guys that had to wake up at 3, 4 o'clock Saturday morning, drive down to the mass camp, and or pick up speakers from my basement, basements from my basement, amps and racks from my basement, go meet up with the people them, go meet to the mass camp, load up the truck, drive all the way downtown, whether it's Kitty's Carabana, whether it's Lakeshore or University. So me myself, I've always been involved in Carabana on different aspects of the game as well. Different than that, about, I believe it was 12 years ago, in 2019, 2009, we had the fortune of bringing out our own band with co-band leader Jesse Matthews. Now at that point, man, I was able to get to see the real deal hard work that gets done in Carabana. I mean, I was involved in gathering people to make costume, in budgeting numbers to make costume, ordering products and supplies, ordering the truck, paying for the driver, making sure the equipment was there. I was involved in the mass camp. I was involved in so much aspects of Carabana that year that it put me on a different level. I was responsible for the music on the truck. I was responsible for the promotions. I was also responsible for getting sponsors. So again, it's not until you really get involved and get behind the scenes that you get to truly understand and appreciate the machine that they call Carabana. It's something that it takes so much work, and the results are exponential. You could see it with your own eyes when you go downtown and you see the millions and thousands of people, and you see all the bright colors, and you're just in that vibe. You're in that energy. It's Carabana time. It's Carabana time. People, I need a fete. I need a fete. We may not have the big road. We may not have the parade this year, but there's lots of events going on in the city. There's soca events, there's reggae events, there's cultural events that are going on that are going to keep the masses entertained. Also, a lot of the events that would be held along Carabana time, they have found alternate ways to celebrate and carry on their celebrations. Most of these events have transformed to online events or small capacity events, or they have turned paraded events into drive-in events, or stage show events. So people are doing what they can to keep the culture alive, and this is what we want. We want to thank everybody who does their part to keep the Carabana culture alive. Whether you're a DJ, playing music for the masses online, whether you're playing at the soca parties, whether you're providing mix CDs or playing online, we need those DJs to help keep the culture alive. You may be a band leader, a promoter, an event host, somebody on the Carabana committee. We need you to help keep the Carabana culture alive. If you're not out there providing events, we need you to help educate the massive, help teach the next generation of the history of Caribana and what we need to do to keep it alive. If you are a mass goer, if you are a mass goer, a person who puts on a costume and loves the soca music and loves the vibes, don't think that you are left out as well. People, there are different ways to celebrate the culture. As you see, DJ Soca Sweetness has a number of events that he does where you can also purchase costumes. You can still be in that Caravana vibe. So mass goers, fans of soca music, attend those events. Look for those online events. Keep the culture alive, because there are ways to do that, right? People, this is the Viewpoint Show. This has been the Carabana episode. I want to shout out all the viewers. I want to shout out everybody that's tuned in. Um, Another thing we want to talk about is the vendors. So much people are losing money. The city is losing money. I just got reminded about the vendors. So let me just talk about that quickly. Carabana is an event where you would have local businesses, small businesses lined up on the side of the road selling their items. There are people that would save up all their funds, save up all their money, save up all their energy to make sure that they're out there on the road promoting and selling their goods for Carabana. I remember even one year, a couple years, but it was this one year we decided to go full force. Me and my cousins, we said, you know what? You know what we're going to do this year? We are going to sell water. Man, what a thing to do. A hard work, but very profitable. We woke up early in the morning, drove to No Frills and Price Chopper, picked up all the water we could on sale. We went to Canadian Tire, picked up 2 black garbage buckets with wheels, and then we went to one of them local ice stores in Scarborough. Loaded up my Mazda Protege trunk full of ice, drove down to the parade. Now, if you're familiar with Carabana, if you're driving down there, not everybody gets to go to drive their car on the parade route or into the back where the masses are. I had to tell a couple stories, go with a little fake pass, but we were able to get back into the parking lot where all the bands are. So we got there, loaded up the buckets, and boy, we walked those buckets down that parade route back and forth. People, hundreds and hundreds of dollars later and hours later, it was a great task. Um, but I said that's not something I'm gonna keep doing. Um, Marcia, thanks for reminding me about that. Definitely. But people, again, this has been the Viewpoint Show. This has been the Carabana edition. I need a Fete. I got to big up my moms who's in the chat as well. She said, respect to the mass. If it wasn't for my mom, I probably wouldn't even be involved in Carabana. So I got to shout out my mom. I got to shout out her mom as well, who was involved in Carabana. The whole family all together. It's a mass family. I gotta big up my cousin Roach. Gotta big up his dad Hollis, because from March of every year you can drive on his street and you don't know you're gonna see the garage open with the soca music blasting, and you're gonna see the 5 older gentlemen there making them mass, building them mass from scratch. These are the vibes, these are the culture, this is the energy we need to keep alive. Marcia said she makes sure that her kids and her grandchildren are involved in Carabana. This is the same thing I try to do with my kids. I make sure that every year me and my kids are down there on the parade route, celebrating, keeping the culture alive. People, Carabana edition. I need a Fete. I want to shout out everybody that's following the Viewpoints movement. I want to shout out everybody for liking and subscribing to all the channels. Like I said, we're going to have Michael, aka Ghetto Williams, on another episode. We had a quick issue and he had to depart, but no worries, people. We got a lot of great information. It's the Viewpoints. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. My name is Ja Wiggs. Joey Gums make them know a protege exclusive style. It's the Viewpoints. Oh yeah, people. Remember, always remember, you gotta check up on your people them daily. It's all about the blessedness check. Stay tuned to my Instagram. We're gonna be going live and checking up on our people. It's the Vupointz. We'll be back next week. Thanks for tuning in. August 11th. It's the first official Vupointz book review. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Available on Amazon, on Audible, the CD somewhere. Or you can go buy the book. It's the Vupointz Untethered Soul review, August 11th.